All right. Wow. We are live. Randy Johnson from the Triple Clowns and me. I'm Tom from the Triple Clowns. We are live a little bit late tonight. We're going see some palm trees. We're going down to Turf Paradise. And we have a special guest having a little bit of technical difficulties. I think because he's still actually at the track. Craig Braddock, who is the track announcer at Turf Paradise, has agreed to join us, but I think he might have a bit of a bad internet connection. We hope he gets on, so apologize about the delay, the 6 minute delay. But we're here. We're going to be breaking down the last four races, and we hope Craig can pop on because he really has a much better accent than myself or Randy, doesn't he, Randy?
Well, yes, if you consider an English accent a better accent. And if you do, then yes, he does. And he
Well,
sounds a lot
anybody talks
cooler
better than
anytime. Well, yeah, my New England accent is no good for anybody.
my
But
Philly
Craig,
accent ain't too good.
if you see stuff popping on and scrolling and whatever, that's me trying to get Craig on. So, Tom, happy to be here once again, breaking down Turf Paradise. And I do want to say out loud, because one of the comments said, when Randy goes slumming, he goes to Turf Paradise. I don't know why that was said. I lived in Phoenix for a little bit. So I like Turf Paradise. I think I said that. I think she was joking. I
I
hope.
think she was.
But
I think she
we're
was. I
going to
think
get
it's
into
one of your
late
fans.
late pick four. It's fun to watch Turf Paradise. Um, I mean, the one thing about it is, the weather, right?
Exactly.
The
We're not
weather's
getting rained out.
yeah. So
We're staying on the turf. I believe we race six is the only one on the turf. But yeah, it's not like some of the tracks that we usually cover here on Off the Rail. But with that said, we are covering races 5, 6, 7, and 8. The fifth race is an interesting one, I think. We have a horse that a lot of people know, a lot of people have seen run. It's a former Baffert horse is running in this fifth race. Horse by the name of Axeman, and I know I was very surprised to see him when I sat down the other day looking at this card, but the horse has obviously been running with a little bit of a better company. I mean, gosh, this horse lost to Maximum Security back in the day. And I think I like this horse. We're only going a mile here, Randy, and I think I like this horse going back to a mile. Last time he wanted a mile was at your track over at Santa Anita.
yeah, I mean, listen, I watched this horse for a long time. I actually seen him in person a long time. Watched DVD ride him before, and I watched Baffert yell at DVD after the race once, way back in the day. And this horse was aimed big time. And last time I saw him was when he ran and set that hot pace with Brickyard Ride to lead it for Cezanne, because Baffert did that with Axeman. Funny story, I actually watched that with Baffert's wife. Was in our suite. I did. And she was a big Axeman fan. And Cezanne just looked like a beast. I think it was the last time we actually saw Cezanne. I don't think we've seen Cezanne since. And
I don't think so.
this horse, much the best. I can't go away from this. I think D Rest said something in the comments about it. I mean, this horse is 7, but it's only had 18 starts. Typical Baffert, big time horse, takes half a year off at a time. What happens? So, a great thing. McFarlane is great first time with that trainer as well.
Mm-hmm.
How is this horse not going to be 1-9? Curious drop, of course, but
Yeah,
I single.
big drop.
It makes no sense for me not to single this horse.
Agreed. I mean, I have it singled, and your buddy Mike Smith was last on him back before Thanksgiving, down at Del Mar. You guys were probably at that race at the Native Dancer.
Uh, yeah, you know what? I don't know if I'm sure. I think we were. But yeah, I mean, you look Azul who I like a lot, 8 rings. Look what he did last time, going to the lead and getting beat by
Sure.
uh, our guy there. But yeah, I mean, this
Well,
is a real deal horse.
yeah, I'm excited to see what he's going to do at this track, going a mile. It's
No,
it's going to be a fun race, and I hope it's not going to be disappointing because
this
it
is the
is a
best
special
distance for
horse.
this horse, though. I think
Well, that's
throughout his
why, yeah, that's what
career.
I just said. Last time that he won, he ran at a mile, um, back in March.
Yeah, yeah.
They've been shortening him up. He went from a mile to 6.5, and then to a mile and an eighth. Just kind of screwing around with the distance Bobby has, but now he's back at a mile. It's going to
I
be
mean,
a
I'm curious to see like an Arizona Moon in this race.
yes.
But I mean, how many times have we seen this, Tom? And this is not being me being snobbery of coming over and just a kicking around horse at Santa Anita, going to a different track and just beating people like crazy. Oh, I think we got Craig.
Oh,
There he is.
Hey, hey, hey! Good
Do
evening,
you see Tom?
guys. How are ya?
Good. Do you see Tom as well?
I do indeed.
Oh, look at this.
Craig.
We got him
Here
on
we
here.
are. Here is our special guest, Mr. Craig Braddock. He is a native of Cambridge, England, uh, and he learned how to call a race from such great race callers as Simon McGrath. He called his first race at the age of 15. He's called everything from quarters to Arabians to standards and jumps. He even called races at one of my uh, close tracks here, not that well known, but to fellow race fans, it is very well known. Fair Hill in Maryland, and
Oh
he's
yes, yeah, very
currently
much love doing the jump racing.
it is beautiful. They just redid that turf course not that long ago. He is the current race caller at Turf Paradise. Why we're here, and I'm sure he's still at the track. He just called the races today, so if his voice is a little scratchy, please excuse him because he's been calling races all day. And then he's talking with us knuckleheads. So Craig, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
First of all, Craig's voice will not be scratchy because he's a professional, Tom.
That's true. Not
Like
like
myself, I just have a scratchy voice in general. So, it's what it is.
Well, Craig, I really appreciate you coming on. This is our first time at Turf Paradise, so who better to have than you? You're our second race caller on Off the Rail. We've had Chris Griffin from Parks on quite a few times actually.
Mhm.
You are in excellent company. How are the races today?
They were pretty good today. Interestingly enough, I think the rain we had over the past week, yesterday we were seeing horses get very tired, and unusually today we were seeing some horses creep up the inside in the home stretch, which is kind of unusual at Turf Paradise. Usually the track plays better in, say, the three path outwards. But today we were getting some horses on the inside coming home and firing on all cylinders. So it was good to see. The track is definitely playing a little bit different right now because of all the rain we've had in the Phoenix Valley the last week. And our track superintendents have been working virtually every hour God sends to get the track up and running. You probably know we were off the turf last week and they've done a Herculean task at getting us back on the turf this week. But there's certainly a lot of interesting handicapping opportunities as we dig further into the meet. We're a couple of months into the meet now here at Turf Paradise, so a lot of horses have already made at least a couple of starts here at the meet.
Sure.
And as we go forward, towards the end of April, beginning of May, when the meet ends over the next 84 or so live race days, I think there's going to be a lot of good wagering opportunities for people to watch and wager on Turf Paradise around the country.
Yeah, and it's always a fun. I like it when my track almost starts when my track at Delaware Park goes down. So it gives me some action. I'm out here on the East Coast. It gives me some action late in the afternoon, which I like, and it is an interesting. It's an interesting. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's an interesting course. That's for sure.
Definitely. And we're going to be looking, I guess, at the pick four we have at Turf
Yeah, yeah.
Paradise.
And Randy and I
We
just
were just talking a lot about Axeman.
Mm.
Obviously, I know Axeman from being up here. Everybody knows Axeman, I think, a Baffert horse before. California horse coming down. I think this is a no-brainer with this horse. I think this horse, and I'm waiting for your insight on this. Is this transfer normal? This is a drop going to Turf Paradise. The trainer is awesome. First with a first, um, we know Baffert will give up on horses. I mean, listen, I'm proud of Baffert for training the 7-year-old. That's pretty
how
amazing.
about it? Yeah.
And we think about it, right? So yeah, so let's get into this first half. I think Tom and I went heavy on Axeman, correct, Tom?
That's accurate.
And I can't go anywhere else. What do you think here?
Well, I'm actually going to go three deep in the first here. I think, from a horse playing standpoint, you've got to try and beat X-Man, although realistically, I don't see him getting beaten here. The only thing I see against him is Dan McFarlane is only 1 for 20 starters at the meet. Dan hasn't had as many starters as one would expect from his barn. I don't know if he's got quite the amount of horses that he used to. That would be my only concern here. This is a horse who can usually sit off the pace a little bit and make a late move. Although 3 starts back at Santa Anita, it led throughout. Nonetheless, I think that Axeman certainly has all the credentials to win this. The number 3, Black Ops, is an interesting one for me here, going for 2 wins in a row off the back of a win over 7.5 furlongs on the turf in a 27,000 allowance race. But clearly, that's in a very lower league compared to number 2, X-Man. I also have a little bit of a hint here for the number 4, Hard to Deny, who was a good winner here on the 13th of December over 1 mile on the dirt on that occasion. But again, that was a 50,000 allowance optional claimer. When you're up against a horse like Axeman, it's really difficult to go away from him. But I do have a single picked out in race number 6, so I'm going to go 3 deep here and hope that we can overturn Axeman. But it's going to be awfully difficult to do so.
No, no
breakdown.
doubt. And it's interesting because I will ask you, because is there something of the horse for the course at Turf Paradise? Is that something that holds up?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the way the track is played. First of all, if you're not a regular follower of Turf Paradise, we redid the dirt track before the start of the race meet, and we did a lot of improvements to the turf track as well. So the dirt track really, it was almost like starting fresh. You could throw out a lot of the angles from previous years. And so far, over the opening couple of months of the meet, the track has tended to favor horses drawn towards the outer post positions as opposed to the ones who are on the inside. Even in 2-turn races, that has been the case. You'll often see at Turf Paradise in races of all classes, the horses, when they turn on the main track into the home stretch, the leader will be in 3, maybe even a 4 path quite often, and that'll be the horse nearest to the inside rails making a move. So, we've had this go on where getting stuck on the inside is not a good thing. But, having said that, today the tables were turned there. So, there is a little bit of a horse for course angle, but at the same time, the quality of race that Axeman has been up against is clearly far superior than anyone else here.
Sure.
From a
Yeah.
weight standpoint, it's really difficult to argue against Axeman to win here. But in the pick 4 itself, I'm going to go 3 deep in the first, simply because everyone and their grandmother is going to be on the number 2.
Well, yeah,
Sure.
and Cindy just said, surprised no interest in the 5. We did talk about the 5 a little bit before you came on, Craig. But honestly, I don't think there's a speed duel here. I watched Axeman go with Brickyard Ride, who, if anybody remembers, Brickyard Ride was one of the fastest horses out of the gate to the turn that I've seen in a long time. I mean, might quit after whatever, but I watched this horse go with that horse. I don't know if there's going to be any speed duel. I think he might get loose and get caught. I don't think there's a speed duel, though. I really don't. But yeah. So
not in a mile.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's all. I said I agree with Randy. I don't see a speed duel at this distance. but I've
I
been
mean,
proven wrong before.
anybody can, jack the horse out of the gate, you think, and try to do whatever. I just don't think it's the best thing to try to go head to head with Axeman here. Let him go, try to catch him. That's all you're going to be able to do. Somebody can push. Sure, the 5 might be able to push
The
a
5,
little bit.
if anybody, the 5 would, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So good point, Cindy. Always appreciate it. Good to see you in the chat as well. So let's get to race 6, Tom, because
Yeah,
we have a single here, I guess, by Craig. And I wonder if it's what I was talking about.
Well. I mean, I think tomorrow there is going to be a lot of fans out of a track urging number 3 Shinny home, going for
Oh my gosh,
11
yes.
wins in a row. I mean, this little 5-year-old gelding, and he's a tiny animal. He's barely the size of one of my chihuahuas, but he's got such heart and determination. And yeah, admittedly, his last 2 starts here at Turf Paradise. I remember 2 starts ago, he acted differently in the paddock and the post parade than he normally did. And I was thinking to myself up in the booth, that doesn't look good. He was getting very on edge on his start back on the 24th of November, but he still came home in front by 4.5 lengths. He had a slightly harder contest last time out, over 1 mile and 16th here. But I mean, surely this horse is going to rack up 11 wins in a row tomorrow. I don't see this horse getting beaten in this field at all, and that's going to be my single in the pick 4 sequence here. Lindy Wade obviously is our leading jockey. Robertino Diodoro, until about the start of last week, he was on 50% for the meet. He did not have a great week last week, and he understandably is a leading trainer at Turf Paradise alongside Justin Evans at the moment. But I think Shinny has got to take all the beating in race 6. But above all else, it would be really good for the sport, not only in Arizona, but around the country, to see Shinny back in the winner's circle for the 11th consecutive time tomorrow.
Yeah, that's you sum that up perfectly. And there, even I shared it out on Twitter today. Not sure if hopefully some folks saw it. That Blood Horse did a great article that hopefully some extra eyes came on that. And yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And it's more of a, I'm sure it's a sentimental pick for you, obviously being there, but just as a fan of the sport, I would love to see this gelding get in there again. And one thing that I'm just going to add, you described everything perfectly. He's got Indian Charlie blood in him, and Indian Charlie has been he is a recently just hitting the board tracks from all over the country, especially at this distance, and loving it. Love Indian Charlie's on the grass. The other horse that I might put a little bit of a sprinkle on is the 5, Carouse. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes.
I do another horse with a great pedigree, great turf pedigree, and this horse seems to really like the green stuff. But depending on how it runs, with obviously it raining last week, we'll see how it goes. Not sure if that might be the smartest bet or not with how it is. So I might just play the 3. I want to see how it is in the middle of the afternoon out there in Arizona.
I can't recall a horse making its last start at Evangeline Downs and then coming to Turf Paradise in the year I've been here. So that's an interesting angle. The jockey, Sophia Barandella, is definitely an experienced jockey. You can see from the program she's a 5-pound apprentice. And she appears to me to be one of these jockeys who's on a learning curve at the moment. She's not the most stylish young jockey out there. She does get good value out of her horses, and so far she hasn't necessarily had great horses to ride. Carouse would probably be one of the better ones. That would be a little bit of a concern for me. I think Sophia is a young jockey who has a good future ahead of her, like Joey Schreiber, who was our leading apprentice at the meet last year. I think if Sophia can get on some better horses like Carews and begin performing well on them, she'll get more rides. And as her experience grows, I think she'll become a little more tucked in behind the saddle early. She tends to stand up a little bit in the early stages of a race, which again
Okay.
is indicative of a young jockey, finding their way around a new circuit. And she hasn't had a lot of rides yet, but she's certainly a young lady to look out for. And it's a case here where I think you have to pick your spots with her. I don't see Shinny getting beaten, but I would agree with you that Carew certainly may be able to put off the upset. 6-1 on the morning line. I think that is very generous indeed.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I think Shinny's going to be down at least at 6-5, maybe even better than even money. And I reckon Carews, if you can get 4-1 or 9-2 post time on Carews, that's certainly a good bet if you want to get Shinny beaten.
I'm going to be the bad guy here, and I'm going all about Carews. Couple things do worry me. That layoff worries me. The last training doesn't look that good. And it's interesting you said that, because I know a lot of apprentice jockeys. The thing with what I've heard from them here is they kind of just let them go. There's no like strategy, just gate opens, just run with the horse with your weight break. I think that could be perfect for this 5 here. Obviously, I'm going to try to beat the 3. I have a question about the 3, though, Craig. Why wouldn't this horse? I mean, are we just going for records here? Why isn't this horse going up in class? I mean, it's really weird to watch horses win 11 straight and run for, this little amount of money.
I think the answer to that lies in the horse's conformation. I mentioned earlier, he's a very, very small horse. And even if he went up against better horses or higher class horses here at Turf Paradise, I think there's a real opportunity he could get bumped around a lot in races. I mean, I think Shinny is just, an ideal Arizona horse. He's not only is he a good workhorse, he's a horse who the connections tell me he enjoys getting out on the track. That's his deal.
I like that.
He's not necessarily the best performer in the mornings. He's got a little bit of a character about him. When you look at his head in the paddock, he doesn't always have that glint in his eye that's going to suggest I'm going to go out and win by 5 lengths. There's a little more, hey, I'm here and that. But he's a little bit of a character. He really is. That said, he's usually well behaved. But I just think this is just the kind of horse. He is who he is. And he's going to excel in this kind of race. And why change something that's obviously working so well?
Why not?
Absolutely.
That's a great explanation.
Total sense. And you always wonder that when you see it. And hey, listen, good for him. I mean, find what you're good at and be great at it.
That's right.
Craig,
Cindy, one of the folks in chat had a question. How do shippers from Golden Gate do down there?
So traditionally, they do very well. This meet, however, that has not been the case as strongly as it has been in previous years. I think in part because of a new track surface we've got has thrown them a little bit of a loop coming off the artificial surface at Golden Gate onto the new dirt track we have here at Turf Paradise. So we've seen that angle not play out as strongly as it has in previous years. And that to me would be my main concern about any horse coming from Golden Gate down to Turf Paradise at the moment.
Good. Think that answered the question, Cindy. Good. I loved the shipping angles all over the place. So Cindy, that was a great question.
It's the greatest part about having people like Craig on our show. It's you learn these things. He's there every day with the best seat in the house. I mean,
exactly.
Besides on the back of the horse, which Craig wants to do that. But
I'm more like 2 jockeys in one as opposed to a single.
There you go.
That's good. That's good. Well, we're moving right along. We're going to race 7, 6.5 on dirt. Randy, you want to lead us off this time?
No, you can. You go ahead. I'm gonna
uh,
copy your
that's
thing
what I was
because
going to
now
say. That
Craig's got me reconsidering angles at this point.
Ooh.
So, so
We've never
I'm
done
looking
this
at Golden
before,
Gate
Craig.
chippers. I'm looking at the inside of the track because apparently it's a dead rail.
Mhm.
I think Craig said that. So, yeah, you go first because I'm gonna try to take Craig's angles.
All right. Well, race 7, like I mentioned, we're going 6.5 furlongs on the beautiful Arizona dirt. I only went 2 deep here. Uh, I started with the 4 Charmel, like both the jockey and the trainer change here. And looking at this horse's last race was really smooth. Actually, the last couple of races have been very sharp. Had a couple bad breaks here and there, but I think that this horse might have enough, and I really like it going at this particular distance at 6.5. And again, kind of an upgrade with both. No disrespect to the prior jockey or trainers, but it's definitely an upgrade in both categories. I also my second horse here is the 8. Fiction. I can't read my own handwriting. Fictional. I like the speed that this horse showed last time out, and he again showed that he can go this distance and do it with no problem whatsoever. A horse that could come off the pace, a horse that I like to say might be able to pick up the pieces if a couple of the early horses break out quick. I think the 8 could get in there and get off right off the pace and steal this. Not We're not looking at great odds for either, but hey, the horses don't know their odds. But I just went 4 and 8.
Really? Do you feel like you need to cough? It's a little chalky in
Oh,
here
they
right
they
now
they,
with
they
you
call
telling.
it. Yeah, I know. Don't call me the professor, but
I'm
hey,
gonna, yeah, because you love the jock. Uh, Listen, I'm gonna go. I like your. I'll go quickly. Obviously, you're 4, of course. I do like the 8, but I'm gonna give you a horse that I think is gonna beat this horse to the turn. And if you look at a flash and fade, pretty much on the last race with this horse, and I'm talking about the 6 in Linda's Ballet.
yes, yep,
I like this horse
cut it off.
maybe going to the lead. And if you look when it ran for $13,000 before in the starter allowance, 2 races back, ran 6, but by 3 3/4. Is this race that much better than that one? I looked at that race and not really. If anything, yeah, are the numbers great? I'm getting used to looking at these numbers. But, Blackberry Lisa came back and won, I believe. So we're talking about, a horse that if you give me these odds on this horse here, I got to throw the 6 in here.
Yeah,
So I'm going to add on to
yeah.
yours, and I'm going to throw the 6. But I really, really like the 6 to spoil some
No,
at least exotics.
I do like the 6 myself, and I especially going here at 6.5. Not too impressed with the numbers, but yeah, I can't argue on that 6.
Well, the number
All right.
6 is
I
good
like the
value
drop.
for sure.
I like the drop. Who do you have, Greg?
I have the 4, 7, and 8, so I'm kind of going a little bit chalky here. You pretty much said everything I think what needs to be said about the number 4, Charmel. But number 8, Fictional, by the way. I don't know if you guys were listening to Peter Lurie and I on TVG the last couple of days. We've been talking about this young jockey, Fausto da Silva,
Yeah.
who's a young Brazilian jockey, had been plying his trade in Macau in Asia before coming over and has now joined the Turf Paradise colony. He
Wow.
had his first ride here last week, and it was a very impressive win as well for Jose Luna Silva. He's ridden a couple for him this week already, finished second on both occasions, including one today. And but I don't know if you guys follow international horse racing a great deal. But Fausto da Silva, for a young jockey, is very much in the more old-fashioned South American style of riders. He's like hooks himself down very low on the horse, his chest almost running parallel with the horse's neck and spine. Very, very stylish jockey. And of course, you often see the jockeys in Asia and Australia adopt a similar riding posture, and it looks a little bit different compared to some of the American jockeys you see on a day in, day out basis here at Paradise. But nonetheless, I think he's a very, very talented jockey. He's got a good clock inside his head as well. He seems to be very good at judging times, especially late in the race. And he certainly can bring horses home with a flourish. He's been very unlucky this week to have a couple of second place finishes, and Fictional could well be the one to overturn the favorite here, the number 4, Charmel. I also like the number 7, Trans Mississippi, Carlo Lopez on board. This horse coming off a 3rd place in a 3,000 claimer over 6 furlongs here just before Christmas, going a slightly shorter trip today, obviously. And although the claiming tag is similar, $3,000 once again, I do think this horse, who was beaten 5.5 lengths on its last start, will appreciate a slightly longer trip today. Whether it can overcome the number 4, Charmel, I'm not as sure as I am that Fictional may do so. But nonetheless, that would be one I'd go in 3 deep on, the 4, 7, and 8 in race number 7.
All right, 4, 7, 8. That's funny because that 7 I went back and forth with, and I saw the race between them both. And I saw the 6 beat the 7 2 races ago, and I was like, 12-1, because I was going to pick one or the other. I mean, smart, I'd probably go 4, 6, 7, 8, honestly, especially now. And Dennis Da Silva and Silva, it's not the same last name. So they're not related.
No, they're not related.
I did have a question, Craig, and you know the Junkie Colony, obviously. I did like the 7. My question, and you may not know, but you may have no more of the details. Wade went to the 4. What did ride the 7 previously, but now on the 4, is it just that he rides with that trainer more often, because he never rode this 4 before, but of course it's the first time for that trainer as well.
Yeah, undoubtedly, they're becoming a very popular combination there. And Lindy Wade, this is his first race meet here at Turf Paradise, and he's really pulling apart the jockey's title.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So it's absolutely no surprise Diodoro books him on this.
Understood. That's what I thought.
Yeah, and Diodoro could bring him probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's probably looking at that. Diodoro's he might grab him and be running in Kentucky. So.
Yeah. Well, I remember Wade down at Lone Star, I guess, a while.
Yeah,
back.
he raced in Texas. He raced in Oklahoma as well. I think he was at Remington before he headed over.
That's right. Yeah, Remington. That's right. Cool. Okay. No, I appreciate it. Well, we're moving along. We're at the last race of the day. This is the race that hopefully we're all still alive to see. I know I can't start with Randy because he's gonna copy off my picks and your pick, Craig. Do you want to lead us off here? We're going 5.5.
Yes, indeed, a claiming race over 5.5 furlongs here. Arizona Bred's $10,000 claiming tag. If not, it's $8,500. Field of 9 here. I'm actually going to go 6 deep in this. My pick 4 would cost me $27. I went 3 by 1 by 3, and then going 6 deep here with a 1, 2, 4, 7, 8, and 9, hoping to get a price. But realistically here, I think this is between the 7, 8, and 9 horses. And at 6-1 on the morning line, I absolutely guarantee you the number 7, Crooked Finger Ray, will be nothing like 6-1 come post time tomorrow. Was a little disappointing here on the 22nd of November. I remember going and looking at the horses in the post parade and looking at the jockey silks as they were out on the track, and he had a little bit of sweat about him that day, and it wasn't a particularly warm day on the 22nd of December here. And I just made a note. I like to make little notes on my program that I keep for when the horses run next time about how they looked in the paddock. And I noted the horse had some sweat about it, which it didn't when it won 2 starts back here. So I'm going to have a good look at that horse in the paddock tomorrow If the horse looks well conditioned and looks nice and calm, I think it's certainly going to be of help here. I also like the number 8 Baltimore Beat Show with Jose Zanino on board. Jose's had a very good meet so far, although it's just been off the boil over the last couple of weeks or so. Hasn't been getting to the winner's circle quite as often. And the number 9 Bible Man with Daniel Vergara on board. This horse coming off 2 fifth-place finishes should be facing easier company today, one would expect. And I think Justin Evans has been waiting for a race like this for Bible Man. The outside post position isn't going to harm him either.
I love that outside post position with this horse. I think he could
Yes.
he could pick and choose where he's going to go, and I think he's got the speed. I love it. I love the outside horses here because you scared me about the inside horses.
Yes, he did. We don't. Yeah. You want to go, Randy, or me too?
Yeah. Well, listen, I was going to say I don't think Crooked Finger Ray here when we look, and I was just looking up the fact of if Axeman gets beat by like Arizona Moon, you could have. I think we might have played a pick 4 with the Wade jockey in every one of the races. I mean,
yeah,
obviously
true.
this is the guy at Turf Paradise.
Sure.
6-1 on this horse. I don't understand that so much there.
No, but like Craig said, we're not going to sniff anywhere near
and
that.
I thought I was going to maybe go there and be like, look, I got a 6-1 shot. I think I was looking at 7-9. The 2 interested me a little bit with the, a bit of a closer, I guess, on a 5.5 furlong race, but really might be stuck on that rail. So if you're going to ask me, I'm just going to go 7-9. Maybe I'll just go 2 for fun. I go 2-7-9.
Okay. All right. I do like that too. My notes do indicate the same thing that you said. I of course I like the drop, a little bit of a drop. Coming third off the claim, was a little bit short last time out, but is one of those horses that finishes very well. And 5.5, so.
Terrible turf to dirt, though.
I did see that.
Terrible.
I did see that.
That scared me.
And then the 7 Crooked Finger Ray. It's a horse we actually picked once before in one of our shows when Ray used to run over at Santa Anita. Obviously, one of those horses' names that sticks in your mind. But yeah, I like him. I like him going back to 5.5, which he won last time out. Bible Man, the 9. You guys talked a lot about that. And I like the dropping class. I don't want to go down that hole too much. And if the 3 beats me, we'll see how the day goes. I kind of like the 3. I may put him on. I may leave him off. I do like his speed numbers, the 3. But let's just say for now, I'm going 2-7-9.
2-7-9. I was surprised you didn't take Unbridled Sky.
I know, and if that wins, I'm going to kick myself. I actually had that written down. My wife's, spelled the same way as the wife, and I got it.
Well, you know what? I actually had notes on that horse. I'm curious about that, and maybe Craig could say something. This trainer is pretty big. What was he coming over? Or hold on one second. What was it? What I have my note on? Won his last start, like off a claim.
Yes.
Pretty big on that. So, I mean, I don't know.
No.
Does that
translate? Number 6, Unbridled Sky, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he did do the Golden Gate Turf Paradise, came around and won. You think this horse can repeat, or is it?
I'm not sure this horse can repeat here. I mean, it did win a fairly bloodless win on the 17th of December. It's very questionable who the horse beat on that occasion. Jared Brownlow, has, if you look at the past performances, it will say 1-0, 1-0. He's only literally had 1 start of a meet so far as an owner and a trainer. I think it may be his only horse he has on the property right now. I'm finding it difficult against this competition to see Unbridled Sky. putting in a repeat performance again. That being said, in the number 6 position, I could see the horse up there early on, but I think it's going to fade a little bit around the far turn and into the home stretch.
All right. All right. And
Fair
Keith has a
point.
question up there.
No, thank you. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I've always seen Canterbury and
Keith
Surf
says,
Paradise shipping relationship strong. Which shippers would you say are doing the best so far this meet, Greg?
Oh, that's a really good question. And with respect to the person asking that, if I gave you an answer right now, it would be something I would literally be making up off the top of my head. So, with respect to
honest.
all the horse players out there, I would have to do a little bit of research into that to give you a genuine answer. I apologize, but I'd rather be straight with you and just pull something out of my ample posterior.
Your ass, it's fine. I'll do it for you. Canterbury, definitely. I've been tracking it for a while, and Canterbury's the one. Don't listen to me, Keith. No. But we
Well,
love you for asking the question. And
yeah,
thank you, Greg, for your honesty, because that's why these people come on and ask these questions.
because we are honest, and I appreciate that answer definitely. And what else can you tell? So we wrapped up our pick 4. What else can you tell us? What's going on at Turf Paradise this meet? If anybody is in the area, what do you guys have? What do you guys have going on?
Well, we're still, coming out of the situation with COVID here in Arizona. We've got
Sure.
this new variant. I've been pretty sick. In fact, the last couple of weeks myself, and only
Oh, geez.
the last couple of days just got my mojo back again. But we do, as far as the race meet goes, we've got a 30% increase in purses this year, which I think is
Great.
being reflected in the race, in the competitiveness of the races. We'd like to see a few more horses entered per race and get that up a little higher to give the horse players some wagering opportunities. But we're also getting a lot more interest in Turf Paradise from horse players at this meet. It seems to be a meet that has caught a few people's imagination. Maybe for the first time in a few years, they're playing the track. We're also getting quite a following now in the UK and Europe. We're on Sky Sports Racing in the UK most evenings of the week, and I talk to those guys over in London, and some of our late races are now hitting Sky in Australia as well. So we're definitely increasing our footprint in this new global racing market. As far as coming out to the track, we do have free admission at the moment. We have just reopened the clubhouse. We don't have food at the moment. We do have drinks available. And by all means, come out. If anyone who's watching this podcast wants to come out, they can always contact me via our Facebook page or on our Twitter feed at turf_paradise. And I'd be happy to have them come up to the announcer's booth and watch a couple of races with me up there, and hopefully point them in the direction of some winners.
That is fantastic. I've been there many times. I used to live in Phoenix for a minute, and now in California, and I have made my way down there a few times, and I like it. Listen, and I know this sounds terrible when I say it gives me a dog track feel, but I grew up at a dog track. Okay, so that's a nice thing for me to say. It's like a home feel, like old school bleachers. It gives me that feel. So it is a cool place.
Oh, there he
And
is.
there he is. That is a chihuahua. You actually do have chihuahuas. You said
I
that.
do. Hey, Ricky,
Oh, that's
say
funny.
hi. Yep.
Well,
Yeah,
that's funny.
I mean, so that is great because yeah. So check it out. It is weird too because you think of a track in Arizona, and if people haven't been there, it's like oddly like I would say it's in the woods, and it's Arizona. When I say it's in the woods, you know what I mean. It's not like the middle of the desert. It doesn't feel like that. It feels shaded. It feels like
Interesting.
Yeah,
you know what
it's
I mean.
surrounded
Right?
by mountains all the way around. When you look from the
Yeah.
announcer's booth, there's mountains to the east, to the west, to the south.
Wow.
The grandstand faces the south. It's actually remarkably beautiful.
Yeah.
As a situ, as
Yeah,
a,
that's
you
what I
know,
mean. Like, I'm from New England, so we say the woods. When you go into it's like a valley, I guess. but it's not what you would think of like this track in Arizona
Oh
that
no.
would be in the middle of like
Yeah, you
a
would.
desert,
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have not made the connect. Never went out there to see a
And
race,
is it
unfortunately.
actually?
But
It's not in Phoenix, right? It's where is it exactly?
No,
What's it?
no, it's in North Phoenix. If you guys know the area at all, any of the people watching this know the area. It's essentially along the I-17 corridor north of Phoenix, heading up in the northern suburbs of the city. I mean, actually, we've just been looking up in the press box at some photos from when the track opened in 1956, and back then it was in the middle of nowhere, but now it's a highly urbanized area around 19th Avenue and Bell in North Phoenix, but it's very clearly in North Phoenix when you see it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I always thought it was like a different town up there or something. I was like, this doesn't feel like downtown Phoenix. It just didn't feel like it. But I do. It's a great track to go to. Check it out.
oh
It's
yeah,
awesome.
Cindy was there back in the '70s, so we've got a couple folks who have ventured out there, which is great. That's what's the great thing about doing these things. You get to talk to people from all over the place.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, that's great that you have a reach for international racing. That's a great move. It's a great move by you,
It
Turf
really
Paradise.
is.
It's a great move. Listen, we did it with Sarah. Does a show. You met Sarah earlier um, for the Beer Garden. Who she does Hong Kong. She does
Mhm.
Apple Valley and Sha Tin. It's awesome the crossover and watching other tracks and things.
Sure.
I think we need more of that.
There is one
And
thing I wanted to mention to you guys, and that
Yeah.
is the week of the 17th of January. So essentially in 2 weeks' time, we are having a guest race caller coming over from the United Kingdom. Her name is Danny Jackson. She works for the William Hill organization in the
Ooh.
UK, and she is an awesome race caller. With respect to others who have tried it, she will knock your socks off as a race caller, and she's going to be here from the 17th to the 22nd of January. And
Wow.
we're going to split the card each day. She'll do 4 races, I'll do 4 races, and one of the days she'll do everything herself. She's actually being auditioned by Race Tech in the UK at the moment, who hire all the race callers over there, and she's got through to their final auditions, which she's doing a couple of days before she flies out to Turf Paradise. But we're really looking forward to having Danny. I think
Wow.
the American racing fans are going to be very, very impressed with her race calling abilities.
yeah, I mean, because I can't think of any. Is there a female race?
Well, we had
Well,
Angela Herman who called a season at Golden Gate Fields maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and
okay.
Jessica Paquette has filled in at Sam Houston, maybe
Oh,
a
that's
couple of
right.
other places as well.
I forgot about that. Jessica did. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right. So, but we don't have many, and that's interesting.
No.
So make sure, Craig, send that over to us, that info, and we'll put it out there as well, because
thank
that's
you.
really cool. And
If
that's
if
good. Good for
people,
you, Craig. Good for you, Craig, reaching out and doing all this stuff. I mean, Turf Paradise should be amazing. Amazing. They should be very happy of the amazing job you're doing. Because I mean, seriously, I mean, you're really taking. It sounds like you're taking you know, you're the front runner in trying to get everything out there for them.
Well,
And good for you.
I think
well,
as like a mid-level track, we've got to try and do everything we can to not only
that's
promote the
true.
sport here in Arizona, but also present Arizona horse racing as a viable wagering concern for people not only in the United States but also around the world. You know, we're very thankful now that people overseas and people around the US can bet into our pools here in Arizona. We have a large OTB network in Arizona as well, which is unusual for most states. We probably have the biggest OTB network in the country as
I
far
think
as
you do.
numbers.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think you do.
and
Yeah.
and so horse racing here is slightly different. It has a different taste, a different texture to it than it does in many other places. But that being said, although it may not be grade one horse racing, it's certainly fun horse racing. And I
Right.
always tell people when we do the handicapping show at Turf Paradise is, I'm not a professional handicapper. I make my living calling races. So when I try to give handicapping advice to people, it's more along the lines of not me telling you which horse I think is going to win and why, but I like to try and plant 2 or 3 little fun thoughts in people's head and then let them make up their own mind. There's so
That's
many
perfect.
people out there who try to railroad their picks going through. No, just make a suggestion and let people have fun.
We
Right.
preach that,
And if
Craig. We preach that every time. It's like, and even when we do our pick show, it's like, I don't even care like what my percentage is. I give a horse and I give you the reason why
right,
I saw this. And maybe you agree, maybe you don't. This is how I see the race breaking down. And that's what's fun. And
and
maybe you
teaching,
see it a different way. But maybe
but
you
but
go, oh wow, that's right. The 6 could
but
go to the lead here.
but the teaching aspect is great too
Educating.
with people that we had a question tonight about the angle of the Golden Gate shipping angle. The people, and that's kind of what we try to do with all the Triple Clowns platform, but especially here on Off the Rail, where we do focus in on tracks like Turf Paradise and Parks and Delaware Park, where it's the mid-level circuit tracks. And hey, this is why I like this horse. Jamie Rodriguez and Ruben Silvera are the hot jockey trainer combo at Parks. And somebody out in Arizona who doesn't play the track a lot might remember that from the show. And oh, I remember this guy. I'm gonna play Parks, just like we're doing now with Turf Paradise. We can get people in, and like Randy said, and I agree, bringing in the international market is just it is untouched practically by tracks like us, and that's amazing.
I was thinking that the other day when, I'm watching football or something like that, even with a prop bet. And, not to go off on whatever, but I'm sitting here thinking, how quick of action do we have with horse racing? How fun is this? And Dennis Trudge said it's supposed to be fun. How fun is it that it's like, boom, here, this is what I thought. Maybe it didn't go that way. Usually in my case, it doesn't go that way. But,
Hey,
at the end of it, then you go, okay, now we're on to the next race. It's not 2 hours. It's
no,
not
it's not a
3 hours.
week. It's not a week for the next football game. It's all right. Post time's 15 minutes. Let me grab a beer, and I'm hitting my next race.
Exactly. And yeah, Craig, thank you so much for what you do.
Yeah,
I'm sure I'll be out there. I have to get Sarah there. Her grandfather lives in Arizona, and we do go there often. And she's never been there, which I think is like sacrilege because
We'd
she's
love
gone
to
to your
have you.
grandfather so many times and never
yeah. She
gone
was
to
just
her
out to see
paradise.
him. Yeah, wow. While they
It's
were
so
running.
weird. Yeah,
But yeah, we've taken up a lot of your time, Craig, and I know you had a long day. But what I'd like to do, maybe towards the end of the meet or something, if possible, get you back on here on Off the Rail, or maybe we get you on our weekly show where we go over some news and things of that nature. But we definitely will be in touch.
I would love to be on your show anytime. You'd be happy to take my marginal handicapping advice.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen,
Well,
we do other
and
things
that's
than
what
that.
we are.
We go over news. We talk a bunch of garbage. We're doing a show right now called How to Fix Horse Racing that we're just talking about what we can do to make it a better experience of kind of what you're doing. So you'd actually be an interesting person to talk to about that. Um,
Absolutely,
so
would
we
love
can,
to be
Yeah,
involved with
yeah. We're 4 weeks in, 5 weeks in now. We still haven't fixed it.
it.
yeah, I have a
Oh,
feeling we're not gonna, but we're
no,
trying.
no. Bark loud enough. You got to bark like that dog, and bark loud enough. Maybe
Oh yeah.
somebody will listen. But
What's the
Craig,
dog's name before you
Oh,
go? 'Cause
this is Ricky Blind Dog. He
wait,
he
what?
yeah, he's blind. I adopted him a couple of years ago with his litter-mate brother Toby Dog, and they're both 12-year-old Chihuahua pug mixes.
So is he actually blind or is his name Ricky the Blind Dog?
No, he is actually blind.
Oh,
Ricky
okay.
Blind Dog.
I
oh,
wasn't sure.
that's
I wasn't sure if like a horse racing name,
No,
like Ricky the Blind Dog goes to the lead.
yeah, there he
Uh,
is. Yeah,
he's
oh, look
cute,
at him.
I know.
adorable, love it.
That is great. Good
He's a
for
good
you.
boy. He really is.
Absolutely. All right, Craig. Well, thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much
Check us
indeed.
out, Tom. Lead
Yeah,
us out.
no, absolutely. Craig, really appreciate it. We're going to Turf Paradise tomorrow, everybody. And we're gonna nail this pick four in one way, shape, or form. But there's more than 4 races. There's 8 races tomorrow. And let's play them all. Let's I know Craig puts his picks out every day on the Twitter handle. And Craig, where can they find you on Twitter real quick?
They can find me at Cools the Races and at Turf Paradise at Turf_Paradise.
Fantastic. And yeah, we will looking forward to bragging about our picks tomorrow, where we'll just act like we've done it before and just go to the next one. but Craig, really appreciate it, and everybody out there, happy new year. And let's start off the new year with the bag and nail this pick four. Thanks everybody.
Yeah,
We'll talk to you
thank
guys
you, everybody.
next week.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
Talk soon.